You guys absolutely loved the first 3 investments that'll make you rich on FIFA. So, of course, because you guys smashed the like goal by a ton, we have our second part of this, 3 more investments that will make you rich on FIFA 22 Ultimate Team. If you guys do enjoy this video, make sure you guys drop a thumbs up. If we can hit 125 likes, we will upload a third part very soon. And of course, if you're enjoying the daily FIFA 22 market content, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification so you never miss out on another video from me. So guys, we're gonna hop right into it here. Our first big investment that I'm kind of taking a look at is actually going to be bronze and silver top tier, high tier, top league cards. Essentially, we're going to be looking for bronze and silver cards from the top 5 leagues, such as the Premier League, the Bundesliga, whatever. And the reason why we're actually doing this is because later this month we are going to start getting our league SBCs. Well, later in November, I mean, it's end of October. But we're going to be getting League SBCs in November, which means that these cards start to pick up quite a bit of demand. So what I like to do, and what I have been slowly doing, is I like to go onto the market and kind of look for bronzes at about discard price, all from the top tier leagues. Usually with League SBCs, cards from the Premier League and stuff that are bronzes, they'll end up actually going close to like 800, 900 coins at a minimum. So looking for any cards that you guys can pick up at like discard price, maybe like 300 coins or less, is a really good shout, because these cards are going to end up rising. So it does take a little patience winning them on bid and trying to snipe them from lower. But as you guys can see, the absolute minimum for a bronze Premier League card right now is 450 coins. So what I would do is kind of just sort through, try and win bids for less than that. Whether it's content time, whatever might come out. You guys want to be looking to find these Premier League players for much cheaper. You guys can, of course, always snipe them as well. Just set up a sniping filter, because again, you'll see undercuts come in, and these cards, they will sell pretty fast. And when we do get those League SBCs, whether, usually we end up getting the top 5 leagues within a certain amount of time, you'll see that these cards could double. Now I know 400 to 800 coins is not a lot, but if you buy a shit ton at 400 coins and then you sell all of them at 800 coins, it's a really profitable method to do. What I like to do is kind of do a little bit of a club stock, just kind of go through, pick them up, store them in the club, and then by the time that, that period does come in, you'll be able to sell them for, a decent profit. And you can actually do the same with the silvers as well. The silvers end up going for a bit more too. Usually they can sit around 1k depending on who the team is. But if you guys can find these for like 700 coins or less, or even like 600 coins or less, this is a really good shout too, because you guys can kind of, make a ton of coins. You can double them just by kind of storing them in your club, do a club stock. Similar to the bronzes, they end up becoming worth a decent amount later on. And you guys can do this, of course, with any league. We have, the Prem, the French League, Serie A. All these silvers and bronzes, they all sell for about the same thing. Of course, you'll actually be able to find some of those off leagues. You'll be able to find them a little bit cheaper. So just check the prices. But you guys want to try and get them as close to discard price as possible, because that way you'll be able to make just as many, a lot of coins. The closer to discard, the more potential profit you can make. So as you can see, the Serie A silvers are about 400 coins. So try and win them for like 300 or less, snipe them for that. You can make some really good coins off of this filter. Next up, we're going to be looking at gold common cards. Now, this one is a little bit different and it's a little weird, but it can be very profitable if done correctly. Now, of course, you guys want to be buying gold commons from, the good leagues, good nations, stuff like that. But gold commons are really interesting this year, because what we saw in the previous promo is we saw twice during Road to the Knockouts that we got some kind of upgrade SBC, whether I think it was like the 75 plus, then we had a player pick one too. So I'd imagine with each promo, we're gonna continuously start getting these. And what happens to those gold commons is they end up going up a good amount. We saw last time, these gold commons, they moved pretty fast. So you guys want to be finding, gold commons in good leagues, good nations. So like this guy right here, this would be a good example of a card that you would want to pick up. Of course, he's already expired. I didn't expect that one to sit there too long. But in those top leagues with those top nations, you'll see these cards went from like 300 coins up to like 800 or 900 when these, upgrades were out, because people were absolutely spamming them. And of course, this filter is a little bit better on Xbox, but it's just a good way if you do, again, a club stock. Just completely stock your club up with a bunch of players. you'll be able to make a serious amount of coins and probably double your investment really easily. And sometimes there are certain players who are more commonly used than others, and they end up shooting up way more in price. So of course, with the off leagues and stuff, like this would be a good card to kind of have. You guys want to pick up, Prem cards, those top league cards, because people they always look towards those ones, and those are the ones that do end up rising the most. So of course you guys want to pick up lower than the 400 coin mark. You want to get as close to discard as possible. So whether it's sniping, bidding, whatever you guys want to do, the closer you get it to discard, the more profit that you'll be able to make. And of course, we did just get rule breakers yesterday, so I'd imagine that we're gonna see some kind of upgrade next week. And when these cards are so low during big supply times and stuff like that, during promo times, rewards and all that, you'll see that these cards go down very low, and you're able to flip these cards very easily. And it's just a very safe investment, because at the end of the day, you make no profit. If you buy them at 300 coins, 350 coins, worst case scenario, you're selling them at like 400 or 350 either, and you basically lose 0 coins if the investment and flip goes south. Now, before we get to the final investment, I do want to talk a little bit about selling, because I had quite a few questions actually I had quite a few questions last video, kind of talking about when to sell. I knew some people, they came to me after and they were asking when to sell the heroes and stuff, if they were still good investments or whatever. And, because they didn't go up right away. You guys have to keep in mind, these are investments, so you guys can hold these for weeks on end. Of course, investing isn't for everybody. If you want coins quick, you should definitely look to trade and flip cards and stuff like that. But when it comes to something like this, it could take a little bit of time for them to rise, because of course we're always depending on content. With League SBCs, we don't know when those are going to drop. They will drop, but we don't know exactly what the order will be and stuff like that. So you could be holding on to those cards for a little while or something. And the same kind of thing goes with those, bronzes and silvers, the gold commons, whatever, it might be. And even the third method that we're going to talk about. And that leads me to our third method, which is buying any promo cards at discard price, whether it's Road to the Knockouts, Ones to Watches, and even the new Rule Breaker cards. And the reason why I say this is because last promo we saw in 2 SBCs, the promo cards were actually required to complete some of those SBCs, and you guys saw the Road to the Knockouts, they flew up in price. So with Rule Breakers, and it's going to be kind of the same thing, we're going to be looking for cards that are going to settle at discard price. So for example, Rip Heart here, if we end up seeing him in, and by the way, this is being recorded on a Friday, so these prices are going to be very high and different to what you're going to be seeing when we watch this. But if Rip Heart ends up going to 11, 12, 13k, it wouldn't be a bad shout for you guys to pick him up, because A, this card's actually like freakishly good. With 80 defending striker. But I wouldn't be surprised if an SBC came out that said requires 1 rule breaker to complete this squad, and all of a sudden this card flies up from 11k, 12k to 24k or something like that. So the same kind of goes with all these promo cards that you see. If EA are going to continue to do this, it could be very profitable. And again, if you're buying them at discard price, guys, keep in mind, it doesn't matter, because there's no risk to these. At most, you lose maybe a K or something like that. So keep an eye on some of these cards. If they get really close to discard, like Coates is, for example, a really interesting one who's already at discard price here on Friday. He's an interesting one, because if he does end up getting really close to, that 10, 11, 12k range at 86 rated, first off, this is a card where 1 SBC is needed that requires a rule breaker. He's gonna fly up like crazy. So of course, every day, just kind of breeze through the prices, see what all of them kind of are. Any ones that are, ending up getting really close to discard price, don't be afraid to pick a couple up. Of course, none of these really top tier cards. The only ones from Rule Breakers, at least Team 1, is going to be Rip Heart and Coates. So just keep an eye on those cards. Maybe David Silva. No, not David Silva. And the same thing kind of goes with the third method, guys. It's an investment, so you might be holding on to those cards for a little bit longer than you might be holding on to those cards for a little bit. That is what an investment is holding on. Those cards will go up eventually. I promise you guys, these are very safe investments. There is 0 risk to them. And you guys have the potential to double your coins, and it can make you very, very rich on FIFA. That's going to wrap up this video. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, peace.